All right. Let's see here. Yeah, running late. Damn door wouldn't let me in. I'm here now. Let's get started. All right. Coming up, the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. All right, we're getting started now. All right. Sorry I was late, y'all. I had a hell of a time getting in here with this new computerized thumbprint system. But I'm here now. All right, I'm getting them started. Hey, Tracy. Glad to see you. All right. Let's see where we at. Yeah. Let's start with that.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host and third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs. Yes, indeed, here to get it started, here to start you out with some education. Ring the bell, sucker, school's in. All right. First thing I gotta talk about is something that I often hear white supremacists say, and even some black people have said this. Okay? How long are you going to be victimized? How long are you going to play the victim card? You know what? Especially to these white supremacists that say this, okay? How dare you? How dare you think that you're going to tell me how to talk about the oppression and degradation that you put on my people? You're going to tell me how I should talk about that, how I should feel about that? You go to hell. That's not happening. And for those black people that say, oh, well, you're just playing the victim card. How long are we going to be victims? Okay. Understand something. White supremacy victimized black people. Colonizers victimized black people all over the world. Understand that. That's how long we're going to talk about it. The hell with you with that mess. All right. Let me get this out the way right quick. All right.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the
Big ups, Vaughn.
guests and contributors and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Yes, indeed, we are your advocacy education station. I'm here advocating for the upliftment of my people and educating you on our history, our condition, and otherwise. And now, check this out. They got this from Tracy, Sister Tracy, or Brother Jardea, I'm not sure. Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, Barack Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kamala Harris, Stacey Abrams, Timothy Eugene Scott, etc., are all the culmination of integration politics, of abject imitation and subservience. Get that? I hope you did. Okay. This is a quote from the great George Jackson. I'm pretty sure I got this from, I think Jardea, but at any rate, this is what he says. Our aim is to stop the life cycle of the enemy culture and replace it with our own revolutionary culture. This can be done only by creating perfect disorder within the cycle of the enemy's culture, life process, and leaving a power vacuum to be filled by our own building revolutionary culture. Okay, global African supremacy. Now, you know what? I know when a lot of people hear me say global African supremacy, what they're thinking is, I just want to replace white supremacy with global African supremacy. You know, we just want our turn to hold the whip. And of course, this is what white people fear more than anything, is that if we're in a position of power, that we're going to treat them like they treated us when they are in a position of power. Okay? We are not the same. Understand that we are not the same. If we were the same, this colonizing crap wouldn't have never happened. Okay? If we were the same, we would not have opened our doors to strangers, not knowing that this stranger who was hungry and dirty and downtrodden, that we welcomed into our home, would murder us, rape our wives, enslave our children. Okay? Global African supremacy. When the black man ruled the world, it was a hell of a lot better place and everybody ate. Understand that we are not the same. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye, yes indeed. We're going to get it started. All right, might stay a few minutes late to get everything in that we need to get in. Oh boy, we're getting loud here. And we're going to take a little musical break. And we will be right back with Nsoromma, WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. Set up over there. All right. Yo, when I put the mics on, you say, welcome back.
Yaga, welcome back to WHGE 95.3 FM. It's your boy, Nsoromma in the building.
Hey, good morning, Nsoromma. All right.
Wagwan.
Good
morning, world.
How you doing, Nsoromma?
Word, cool. Heard you coming in.
All right.
Bad, you know. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, SD.
You on fire, boy.
Yeah, already. You know.
Boy, stay on fire.
Something I gotta bring up. I seen this brother Charleston White. If y'all haven't heard of Charleston White,
right,
find him on YouTube or what is it?
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok. He say that he talk like I'm talking now. Yeah. He a snitch.
He said as much.
He like, I mean, he's on go right now. I'm like,
yeah.
It's like I was watching him when he began, and he was like, you know, the world really only loved negativity. When he was trying to be all, you know, poke pumping, you know, the real like stuff, trying to, you know, get us straight. They wasn't listening. But then when he started talking unexpected, saying whatever on his mind, right, and you know, he's saying all the things that people won't say.
Yes, this is true.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what's generating him. Man, he'll tell you too, man. He says it and stuff too. I was like, yeah, and it's only, you know, just like acting, TV and all of that. They got characters they play.
Right.
These stars that we see, Denzel Washington's, they be in character when we like them at that particular moment.
Right.
And they not like that for real. He's not training they for real. You
Right,
know
of
what I'm
course
saying?
not. Mm-hmm.
So, like, when they off screen, they somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So this TikTok thing and all this Instagram information is like TV, but it's real live.
Happening. Yeah.
Now it's now. So
It's in the moment.
yeah, when you in the moment. So he was. I seen where he was taking advantage of the moment, creating a living for his family. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's what it's about now. And he found a knack to how he can do it. And man, it's shooting him and taking him all over.
Yeah,
man.
it is. Yes, it is. You know, a lot of things I don't agree with that he says. For one thing, I think he claimed to be a Trumpster. I ain't feeling him on that. Okay, but one of the things that came up that he talks about often is the state of hip hop music. Okay, and the thing that he says is, as far as he's concerned, this generation of rappers, okay, could be held responsible for a lot of the violence going on amongst our young people. And he says that this generation of rappers are promoting violence and killing each other, but when it comes to dealing with white supremacy, they're not ready to bust a grape. George Zimmerman's still walking around. All right? So, you know, I have to agree with him to a great extent that if you want to hear, and it makes me think of something that when gangster rap first came along and this, that, and the other, you know, one of my uncles said he in the car with his grandson, and he let his grandson turn on with, you know, whatever music he wanted to hear and what have you. And of course, his grandson put a cassette in at that time. So this was a little while back.
Yeah, it's cassette. They did.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
don't know about the cassettes though, but it keeps on going.
You know? Well, he said that whoever this rapper was calling so many N-words, he asked if it was MC Grand Wizard from the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
You know?
That's I mean, that's the only way that they used to be able to express really was yourself is through music. You know what I'm saying? And really get it out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Out of yourself, you know what I'm saying? And when they started, you know, putting into wax and, you know, certain people got a hold of it and said, okay, we're going to run this music instead of that music. And that's what it came about to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
It's not like we playing this. It's they playing this.
How about that?
You understand?
How about
And
that?
it seemed to be working out well, you know?
That is crazy, but
This is a $1 trillion business that they got going on.
Yes, it is.
A matter of fact, a $1.8 trillion business.
What guan?
Just that.
What guan?
Yes, indeed. I hear you, bro. I hear you. You know, it's something that, you know, we don't hear music like this anymore.
Yaga, yo, what's good? Steve, Jared, Vaughn, hey yo, I see y'all. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? Everything good, Miss Bob. Yo, Samaya, what's good? Yo, you see it, boy? Hey yo, original V5, boy. Yo, you know what's up. You know what it is. 95.3 WHGE, yeah. Politicians is decommissioned in high positions. No sin is here, it's only happening, what way of living. Given the circumstances, take what's given. Law enforcement, no questions, only killing. How you gonna question me? I ain't the villain. And right across the street, they running the trap building. It's not only drugs, the building was gun filled in. Blind policy enforcers not even looking. Lock the wrong one, think they make a good booking. Car right next to them got the real cooking. It's a killing every day. In every part of my city, we're a friend to kill you. For nothing that's petty. High off the wet or the call Betty. Wanna play the game, but their brain ain't ready. Got a gun.
Brain ain't ready.
Yo, what's up, P?
Hey,
It's vicious,
WHGE
man.
95.3 FM. My City by Nsoromma. Yes, it's
Y'all go get that.
Yeah, streaming on all platforms.
Chuck.
Indeed. And look,
What's up?
as I often do, we got to deal with some history.
Definitely.
All right. Ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. Just to give you an idea.
Right.
All right. Some of the achievements from 3000 BC to 31 BC. They were the first people to divide a day into 24 hours. They invented the clock.
Oh, okay.
They built the world's first monumental stone structure, Imhotep. Produced the world's first physician, Imhotep. Invented the 365-day calendar, Imhotep. Imhotep was the first world's genius. They were the first civilization to create a police force. The first civilization to organize labor strikes. Okay? Because some of the pharaohs didn't want to, pay people right. They like, well, the work won't get done. First time it happened. They invented the act of male circumcision. A health tactic to keep your genitals clean and what have you. Created the world's first ever prosthetic body part. Okay, they were putting body parts, recreating body parts, all right, for people that lost their limbs and what have you. They invented medical surgery, toothpaste. They created the world's first written language. They invented the world's first breath mints. Damn.
I'm like just listening like, yo.
Yeah, they invented the barbering profession. They invented the door lock. See, what happened was they started letting them white Asians and Europeans in, then they had to lock the goddamn door.
Yo, where's the proof at for all of this?
Where's the proof? You know what? That's a good question. Because the proof is right there in Egypt. Okay? You don't have to convince anybody that is there. All right? If you ever fly into Egypt, you will see the pyramids gleaming from the sky. Okay? Can you find the tomb of David and Solomon? I don't think so. They invented alchemy, scissors, condoms, mathematics, bowling, the ramp, the lever, geometry, and written history. That's why we know so much about the ancient Egyptian, the ancient Kemet, because they were great recorders of their history. All right? Now, speaking of history, a lot of people are like, wow, you really be on that black history. But I'm going to tell you something that Dr. Clark taught us.
Right.
We got to know their history as well as our own.
Right.
Okay? And the thing
actually, we already know a lot of their forced history, in a lot of sense, but, it's crazy to be like, 32 and 28, just finding out really who you are and, your real nationality and things like that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. But of course, that is the result of having lived under the colonizer. Now, there's no excuse because all the information is out there. Okay, for instance, yes, when I tell you, we need to know their history because we need to know who they are. All right, and know that they will whitewash their history and make themselves these great heroes and what have you. All right, and check this out. The Dutch. All right, the Dutch once killed and ate their prime minister. All right, ate him.
Oh,
ate him.
Oh, and 80.
Ate him, served him up, killed him and served him up. Woo!
That was Hannibal too.
Yeah, I did. Who?
Hannibal.
No, Hannibal ain't do that. This is the Dutch. Oh, you mean Hannibal Lecter in the in the movie? Oh yeah. I'm thinking history right now. So
I know. That's why I was like, I'll let you catch it.
All right. Look, in Holland, it was the people who cannibalized their leader, Johan de Witt. Johan de Witt was a 17th century Dutch grand pensionary, which is like a prime minister. Okay. Now he had presided over a period of breathtaking economic growth for the Dutch. But in 1672, after England and France came over there and kicked the Dutch ass, his people blamed him for it. And they forced him to resign. And they were still sour about that a few weeks later. So they found him and his brother, attacked them, and lynched them. And then proceeded to publicly tear each of them apart.
Wow.
Yeah, man. This is their own. In the frenzy, the mob then extracted their livers.
Wow.
Roasted their livers.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and ate them. Divided up the pieces amongst the ringleaders. The ringleaders were the ones that got the best pieces. Right? They ate the rest of them.
Right.
But the liver, I guess they had a taste for liver. I don't like the liver.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow, man.
Yeah. The lead cannibals and rioters were never prosecuted. They were promoted. Right? Promoted.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, these people, man. People are cannibals, and remember, some of the first settlers in America were right here in Delaware, the Dutch.
Wow.
So if you missing some people, or you were missing some people in the 1700s, and you see one of them Dutch walking around with a straw from the broom, using it for a toothpick, you might want to check his diet. He might have ate your cousin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy. Well, let's move ahead some in history.
All right.
Tell you about some Germans. Some Germans, yeah. In 1924, it was the two German brothers, Rudolf and Adolf Dassler. Okay, and they launched the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory in their mother's house. So business was moving along, but it wasn't great. And then in 1936, during the Olympic Games in Germany, they persuaded African-American athlete Jesse Owens to use a pair of their athletic shoes during the event.
Right.
And so he became the first they became the first major company in history to sponsor a black American male athlete in their own country, in Germany.
Wow.
As a result of this sponsorship, because of the great talent and the great athlete that Jesse Owens was.
Right.
Hey, what'd you have on your feet? He had on Dassler Brothers shoes, Dassler Brother athletic shoes. And their sales skyrocketed. And the company became hugely successful. Then, during World War II, things got tougher for Germany, right, near the end. And the company's factory switched from making athletic shoes to making the notorious German anti-tank weapons known as Panzerschrecks. Panzerschrecks. Yeah, these were anti-tank weapons. Now, after the war, the factory almost got destroyed by U.S. forces, but was spared after the brothers promised to return to just making shoes. Okay. In 1947, the brothers developed an extremely bitter rivalry with each other, reportedly due to the quarreling between their wives. These things happen. Now, the rivalry caused the brothers to split the company between themselves in 1949. And they both passed away in the 1970s, never having reconciled. That lady loved something else. Make you drop your brother. And even though they were both buried in the same cemetery, they were placed far away as possible from each other.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, when the brothers split the company in 1949, Rudolph named his half after an animal he thought represented grace and strength. The puma.
Okay.
Yeah. Adolf named his half using the first few letters of his first and last names. Adidas. So these were the brothers that created Puma and Adidas.
Wow.
All right. And their success can be traced with directly to black people. Start with Jesse Owens, with, the brothers singing. And what was a famous song in the 80s when Adidas was biting the dust? Run DMC.
Yeah.
My Adidas. Yes, the WHGE 95.3 FM. Ring the bell, sucker. School's in.
Y'all got Yo, yeah. What's good? Shout out to everybody that's doing their thing. Hit us up if there's some information you want to know. You know, I shout you out. Let me know what you want me to say. Type it in. I hit you up when we go to break. I can do it through the Facebook, you dig? Yo, Pat, what's up? You got anything to say before we come back?
Yes, D. Make sure that you watch me because I got some stuff coming up on TikTok and all that other live stuff and what have you. And we're going to deal with our identity, all right? Especially in light of what's been going on with Kanye and Irving and what have you.
Right.
And people claiming we people that we not, you know, that we need to, we need to know.
We got to figure out something.
Gotta figure out something. Yes.
Yeah.
WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
You're in the house. Hey, you know, when I was a kid, I grew up with this dude and his brothers in their music.
Right.
It's Michael Jackson. He's like 3 years older than me, you know, and I mean, it was really exciting to see this young black kid with all this talent and what have you, you know? And even more exciting was just the marketing of, okay? Because I can remember, like, in the 4th or 5th grade, okay, when September comes along, not only the school come along, but the new Saturday morning cartoons come along.
Right.
And one of the Saturday morning cartoons that came along was the Jackson 5. Oh, man, that was so exciting. Yeah, buddy, when you was a kid. Yeah, you know? Well, of course, Michael Jackson went on to become the king of pop, probably the most famous entertainer in the world.
Right.
You know, and that was on the heels of Thriller. Okay, and Thriller, has come into its 40th year. 40 years ago that Thriller hit the market, hit the streets. We know the stats. 37 weeks at the top of Billboard's 200 charts. 7 top 10 for one album. That's an album with no thriller. I mean, with no filler.
Right.
Okay? Because some albums, you know, they got some songs in there that's just filler. You know? 7 top 10 Billboard hot singles.
Mike was the truth, man.
Yeah. You know, 7 of Jackson's 8 Grammy wins in 1984. Certified 34 times platinum. That's diamond over 34 times. Still standing as the biggest selling audio album ever. Thriller reached heights that no other album has achieved before or since for a myriad of reasons. Okay? And of course, the main reason.
And that's without none of this computer stuff.
Without none of this
these
computer,
phones.
right?
I think the only one that just passed him was Drake.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got that only because of the technology and the access, you know, availability. They was doing this from out the trunk and the radio and straight sales.
Yeah, and word of mouth.
Right, word of mouth.
Yeah, you know, and of course, Michael Jackson is responsible for the explosion of music videos, especially from the black community.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. He was the first one that came out with the movie theme video.
Right.
That's what killed him.
But as Quincy Jones says, it starts with the songs.
Yeah.
Killer songs. You know? Now, you know, it's something Jackson felt that his work, despite the tremendous melodic, rhythmic, and production leaps it took, was being marginalized as just a black album. Now, I'm not talking about Thriller. I'm talking about Off the Wall, which was before Thriller. He thought that was like being marginalized and what have you. All right? And this is when he started saying, okay, you know what?
I'm going to do me.
I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me. And that's when, you know, he started working on Thriller with such great songs. Of course, it's Thriller, Billie Jean, The Girl Is Mine, Wanna Be Starting Something, Beat It. You know, and he had a knack for delivering his deeply personal beliefs and communicating his social ideologies under the guise of infectious, danceable pop music. And this was apparent before 1982 on albums after. But it was on Thriller where Jackson's social anxiety and constriction became impossible to overlook, giving the LP the crux of its thematic intrigue. You know, take Wanna Be Starting Something. You know, it's a clinical hook on writing. It's a clinic, I say. Let me rephrase that.
Right.
It's a clinic on hook writing. Right? For a song built on less than a 2-chord progression and a static but pulsating synth bass line, there are infectious elements in starting something that make it one of the most irresistible dance numbers to come out of that era. Jackson's incorporation of polyrhythms and interpolation of Manu Diabo's So Makusa with the famous Mama See, Mama Say, you know that, refrain deeply depicted.
Mama say, Mama say, Mama say.
Right. The song is actually about the dangers of rumor mongering, okay, which is a subject that Jackson knew too well. I took my baby to the doctor with a fever, but he ain't find none. By the time this hit the street, they said she had a breakdown. It describes the short but effective cycle of societal hyperbole and sensationalism. Michael Jackson was extraordinary. He was just extraordinary, y'all. That's what I had a lot of respect for his brother's talent.
Back then when we were coming up, music and hip hop was designed to give us messages subliminal that they didn't know that we was getting, but we would know we were getting them. You know what I'm saying? That was the inside sheet of them not knowing how we was communicating through music and hip hop. And now they got that link of educating and getting information to our people. They have jumped into that lane and distorted it with a bunch of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we gotta bring that music back.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, we gotta look for music that uplifts us,
right,
and injects us with energy. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Nsoromma streaming all platforms. You know what I'm
saying? It's all good, though. We're going to move on to something a little harder, all right?
Right.
All right. It was something I really should have hit on last week, but how long has it been? 2014, 8 years. 8 years ago, November 23rd.
Okay.
12-year-old Tamir Rice.
Wow.
Was shot. Died from injuries inflicted when he was shot by a white police officer the day before. Tamir was playing in the park near his Cleveland, Ohio home when a police car approached him. Within seconds, before Tamir could be questioned or warned, Officer Timothy Loman shot Tamir in the stomach. 12-year-old child.
Wow. Bless his soul.
Yes, indeed. The officers were responding to a 911 dispatch in which a caller had reported that someone in the park was playing with a gun. The caller also explained to the dispatcher that the person was probably a juvenile, and the gun was probably fake. All right? They didn't take that into account. Tamir was, in fact, playing with a toy gun in the park, as countless children have, and was immediately shot to death, despite posing no threat to anyone. Immediately after the shooting, police tackled Tamir's 14-year-old sister as she rushed to his side, handcuffed her, and held her in the back of their squad car, unable to comfort her injured brother. Tamir's mother was also prevented from going to her son and threatened with arrest if she did not calm down. How the hell you calm down when your 12-year-old child was just shot and you see him laying there bleeding?
By the person that you supposed to protect them.
Yeah.
You know?
Neither Officer Loman or his partner, Frank Garnback, attempted to administer critical life-saving procedures to Tamir as he lay bleeding immediately after the shooting. Okay? Then he could have been saved, maybe. But
he shouldn't have been shot. They don't pull up to the white neighborhoods and pull their guns out first. They never pull their guns out first. They never reach for their guns first. in the white community.
No.
Never.
Never.
So why do they do it in the black community?
Yeah.
I mean, what is
They have no
that about?
empathy, hatred.
What is that about? I mean, you pull up to the corner when you can grab your taser and handle your business. You go for the most lethalest weapon you can grab on your belt of 99 things that you carry that you can disable a person with. And you know, a lot of the times they don't have no weapons on them. These kids can't. They really kids that want to be in the boys club, but they don't have a boys club to go to because it's shut down. So they get killed for just being out.
For being children. For being
being kids, that's crazy.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
People have to step up, man.
Yes,
and that's just it. The community, everybody has to step up and hold people accountable.
That's
okay,
it.
since they did that, since he shot him and they didn't get nothing for that, he made a negligent mistake with a deadly weapon. His weapon should be. They should take their weapons. Their weapons should be put. It should be some type of punishment that go. You made a mistake. You can do this again. So you on punishment. Your gun license suspended for 4 years or something like that. And then he couldn't be a cop. Or he had to be at the desk. You know what I'm saying? So they really don't want to put anything in a place that makes it, hold them accountable. We need to do that as a people.
That's right.
Go get that person's license. We as people can put in things for them, their license and permits and stuff like that also. But we don't think like that. You don't have to argue with the police. You don't have to do any of that. You can use your pen as a deadly sword. You understand?
Yep.
And that's where our power lies, man.
Yes, indeed. Now, let me tell you the aftermath, which was quite different to what Nsoromma advocated. After the December autopsy was released, Cayuga County Medical Examiner Thomas Gilson reaffirmed his initial ruling that the shooting was a homicide. And in June 2015, the Cleveland Municipal Court found probable cause for prosecutors to proceed with charges of murder and other offenses against Officer Loman. County Prosecutor Timothy McGinney instead declared that he would wait to follow a grand jury's recommendation. A grand jury ultimately refused to indict Mr. Loman on any charges. And that was the prosecutor's fault, because the prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a loaf of bread. Don't get mixed on that.
Wow.
WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye.
Yo, he on it, man. He on it. Huh?
That's it. Where you kicking? Oh, man. Yeah.
I don't know, Pat. That was feeling the emotions.
Hey.
My emotions kicked in.
I heard that.
And I just was saying, you can't hold no side. That's true. I'm in the community, you know what I'm saying? I was one of the people that I be saying, I don't really say nothing that I ain't involved with. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen to me, or I have experience with. Other than that, I set up and listen.
WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. All right. What are we eating? Do we know what we eating? All right. And I'm pretty sure
that's scary, Pat. That's scary. That's scary.
Because when we eating, they got to put it on the box.
Oh, yeah. They got, sometimes they put it on there, but they don't really put everything on.
They don't put everything on.
But okay, what's up?
Okay. What they have been forced to put on the box is if this food is bioengineered food. Okay. What the hell?
Yeah, they got a lot of that.
Now, according to the National Academy of Sciences and the FDA, bioengineered foods are safe to eat. Just from the FDA now.
The FDA is the worst people that tell you that they eat something. I'm just saying.
And you ain't on point, bro.
They was the people that had the beef in the steel can, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. The FDA, the Food Drug Administration. These are the same people, okay, that say that heroin and marijuana are on the same plane as far as addiction and damage that it does.
Wow.
Okay, so that tells you the level of their credibility. Okay, and they said it's safe to eat that The MBFDL and USDA's regulations require all foods and ingredients that have modified DNA to make a disclosure using one of 4 methods of the food manufacturer's choice. Okay, I mean, they can put it on the box, it's part of what they. Now, what are some of the risks of eating bioengineered food? Okay,
Wow.
toxicity.
Definitely cancers.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Allergic reactions. All right. Genetically engineered foods are inherently unstable, and you get antibiotic resistance, immunosuppression, like Nsoromma said, cancer, and loss in nutrition. So it's not really nutritional.
Right.
Okay. Now, when you go to the grocery store, I'm sure you notice foods with the messaging like no GMOs or contains bioengineered ingredients on the packaging. Most likely you've seen it on a range of ways food manufacturers have chosen to share this information. Now, the thing is,
What?
a lot of people don't read the label.
Nah, because they just go and they hungry at the time and they just go pick it up and go home and throw it in and let's eat.
Now, exempt from this disclosure, the law, there's always some exemptions, identify several exemptions. These include restaurant food, foods produced by very small manufacturers, and products from animals that were fed bioengineered crops. Okay, so you got animals eating these bioengineered crops. Probably the most important exemption for consumers is the exemption for food products that contain meat, poultry, and eggs. All right. So you got some what you call scientifically developed cattle, and you like a steak, all right? And boy, that steak sure was good, wasn't it?
Wow.
But gee, what's that?
They 3D printing meat and everything now.
Yeah.
That 3D printer is sick.
Yeah. Yes. That's word. Yeah. And like I said, you get some mysterious disease or start feeling sick for no good reason, Now look, here's a list of foods you need to watch out for. Alfalfa, apples, canola, corn, cotton. Cottonseed oil, eggplants, papaya, pineapples, potatoes, soybean. Don't eat that. That's what squash, and you get in the summertime, sugar beet. I don't eat that either. And let me tell you, the developments of soybean, which are developed by the Greek George Washington Carver. All right, George Washington Carver said this is not to eat. Okay, this is to put to make paint, to make dye, to do other things with it.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
And then along comes these vegetarians and vegans and what have you, and they started making tofu out of this soybean. Don't eat that mess. It's not good for you.
Right.
It's not good for you. I'm telling you. Be careful what you eat. Your diet dictates everything.
Remember that commercial? You are what you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
You don't hear that no more.
Nah,
we was getting commercials and stuff that helped us out. They was trying to help us a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because they needed the workers and they needed the workforce, and we was that too. So they was trying to help us out a little bit in one era. One part of the era.
One part of the era.
I'm saying?
For a little minute.
For a little minute.
Like you said, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
Don't start clucking like a chicken in here.
Get your brain on drugs and with the egg in the frying pan. Like,
And you know what? I look at that commercial, like you said, when they fry up the egg and the thing. I want to say to you, this is your brain on stupidity. That's word. You get listening and watch what you listen to. It's something that a lot of young people.
I eat eggs.
Yeah, I eat eggs.
I eat eggs. I see them scrapping.
Yeah. All right, now moving on to some more hard stuff here. I don't know if people remember, how many people remember the woman, the female George Zimmerman. Okay?
The female George,
Yeah.
was she the cop?
No, she wasn't no cop. This doggone hussy, she wasn't no cop.
I'm trying to think what she did.
Yeah, her name is Hannah Payne. She's now 24. She did it in, what she did in 2019.
She went in the house or something?
No, she
I can't
ran
remember.
somebody down.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah. Hannah Payne, according to, well, let me tell you this, all right? She's indicted for murder, okay? And what she did was, Herring ran, okay, it was a guy, what was his name? Herring. And he ran a red light and crashed into a semi-truck on Clark Harrow Highway.
Okay.
Okay. Near
Hit and
Interstate 285. Hit and run.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, Payne was a witness to the incident. And in testimonies from detectives from 2019, Herring stayed on the scene for 20 minutes, but then just tried to leave because of an apparent medical emergency. Detectives said that witnesses described the emergency as light diabetic shock.
Okay.
Hannah Payne followed him about a mile from the original scene to confront the victim in an apparent citizen's arrest gone wrong. Yeah. All right. Detective said that Payne got out her car and demanded that Mr. Herring return to the to the scene of the accident. Okay. Payne allegedly shot Herring several times as he sat in the driver's seat of his car, killing him. Who the hell this chick think she was? Payne's case has been delayed a few years ago for several reasons, including COVID-19. Now the latest, because they're trying to get this hussy off. All right.
Wow.
The latest, check this out. All right. Her trial was due to start last Monday with jury selection, but it's been continued again. All right. And it's just Clayton County, Georgia. The woman who witnessed the hit and run and is accused of tracking down the driver and killing him. All right. Now it'll have to start next Monday, not this Monday coming. All right. But it's been delayed because of an apparent health emergency with a defense attorney. However, there's no proof of illness, so the judge found an attorney in contempt of court. They're just, doing anything they can
To prolong the
Right.
so they can feel less about pain from the time. No,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
But
It's not happening, Cat.
they usually let them slide. And she's the face of the system, so they probably smack her on her head. Don't you do that anymore,
Don't
Sarah?
do that.
Sarah.
Sarah. Hannah.
Hannah?
Yeah, Hannah. Yeah.
Hannah a beast. I watch Hannah on TV, so I don't think it's a Hannah. Kathy, let's say Kathy.
Okay, we'll call her Kathy.
Katie, what it do? I don't know. You don't.
Yeah, buddy. Well, I tell you what, right here on WHGE 95.3, we are doing it.
Yo, what's good? Implosion in the building. But y'all ain't doing it. Say you smoke 5 green, but y'all ain't doing it. And y'all think y'all hot though, but y'all ain't doing it. Then you spit a hot verse, but y'all ain't doing it. Yeah. Peace.
WHGE 95.3 FM. That's Nsoromma and his partner in crime, partner in music, Smooth, known as Implosion. Doing it.
Cheer.
Yes, Lord.
Partner in prosperity.
I heard that.
Yo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about reparations. California.
Yeah, I seen that. $223,000. You get a house?
Yeah, that's
You can get a house now?
Yeah, well, I don't know about in California. I mean,
Because
medium
everybody on the
income.
street.
Man, medium income. Ooh, yeah, housing in California.
But if you got the grant, You know, you can go get the house and you just ain't got to have no furniture and no electric. You ain't got to be on the street no more. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, according
them bums,
to
right, will be able to be qualified if they black and deserve reparations or qualify for the reparations, right?
Yeah. Now, if I was in California, what I would do, especially considering, you know, the California's economy, I get my $223,000 and get the hell out of Dodge.
Right.
And go where I can take that money and live good.
You can get the money, or they just give you the grant for the house. Which one?
Well, not. They're talking about cash payment.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Monetary reparation.
What?
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Cash payment. You know, and this is from the Commission Studying Reparations under Governor Gavin Newsom.
Right.
Oh boy, I know some white people hate him. That's word. But they floating the idea that the nation's largest state provide $223,000 in reparations directly to the descendants of slaves living in the state, and to address the housing discrimination, like Nsoromma was saying. That's, you know, what it's about. The amount, the amount would by far be the largest financial compensation ever provided to African American descendants of slavery. We haven't had the largest, we had no compensation. And don't tell me that America does not believe in reparations, because it does. The Japanese got reparations. The Native Americans have gotten reparations. They're okay with reparations as long as it doesn't go to black people. And that's
man, you don't even got, they don't even got owe you nothing. Like Ukraine, they just give you money.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. You know, how about that? How about that? And let's
y'all messed up? I got you. Come here. Come grab this check.
You know?
Yeah, right.
You know? And now, the Jews were not victims of America during the Holocaust. Well, maybe they were to some extent, as during the
they were, right?
World War II. All right, even though, you know, Germany was the ones that, you know, were the perpetrators of the Holocaust, of the killing of Jews. All right, for the most part, and for the early part, that was ignored by the Western powers. So, you know, the Jews feel that they should get some reparations from the Allies in World War II that were against Germany, because their plight was being ignored. Okay, all right. So, you know,
that's like, if you said you're gonna protect us and you ain't doing it,
right?
Give me my paper.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
Yeah. So, you know, Israel gets $3 billion a month, a year, whatever it is, all right, to support a country that don't even belong to them.
So why they don't set the reparations like that up for us? They go this one-time payment, take this $230,000, shut up. Yeah. But they say here, y'all get $5 million a year every 17th. Because this the day we had done it to y'all for the rest of history. Well,
let's explore this, okay? Because, you know, one of the things, of course, that whites say that, you know, there's no slaves living, so there's nobody to pay the money to, okay? You know, first of all, let's dismiss the that S9 point, because there was no accountability then, okay? So their idea is there could be no accountability now. Oh, no. As long as the government is still around, accountability of that government is absolutely possible. Okay.
Murder doesn't have a statute of limitations.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's word.
That tells you everything right there.
Know? And those whites that are against reparations, and they bring up these asinine points. The broader point is, it's not about reparations, okay? For people who are no longer alive. This is about white hatred for black people. That's what your point is about. Because if they really want to focus on people that are still living, we can pay reparations to black people for the injustice committed against black people during the Civil Rights era. Right? Because it's not just about slavery. One really good example is housing, which is what California is trying to address. All right? And let me tell you how we got there. After World War II, there was a housing boom.
Right.
Okay? And every American family wanted the American dream of owning a home. And the government was with that. The Federal Housing Authority decided to give out loans to people, but only white people. Explicitly written into the contracts that these loans cannot go to black people for any reason whatsoever. As a result, white families were able to purchase homes, and black families were not. Home ownership is the number one way to build generational wealth in America. So those homes that were then sold for $10,000 are now worth $500,000 or more. That's wealth and equity that a lot of white families, a lot of white families use to start small businesses, pay for kids' college tuition, and without student loans, or invest in new property and make even more money. And all these things were denied to black families altogether. And the results have been devastating. According to numerous studies, black median wealth has dropped by more than, 33%. By more than half in the last 40 years. Meanwhile, white wealth has increased 33%. Oh, but it gets worse. It gets worse. The median black family today owns $3,600. Just 2% of the wealth of the median white family. Oh, and it gets even worse. Okay? At the rate things are going, by 2050, the median white wealth will be about $174,000, and black median wealth will be about $600. Okay? Black wealth is projected to be zero by 2082 if we don't get our thing together and do something about this.
Zero? 20 what?
By 2082. All right?
Wow.
Yeah. This is what we mean by the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. But the scary part is this is not accidental. It's not accidental. It's deliberate and systemic. Deliberate. This is what they put on us. This is why.
Not to cut you off, but I don't understand that when they say, okay, we projected to spend $1.8 trillion a year on Nike and Pumas and all them name brand things. We run the food industry and everything. So if it was put on us, how are we able to spend $1.8 trillion?
Because we don't have a wealth building economy within the black community. We have a consumer economy within the black community.
Is that their fault?
Yes.
I mean, it ain't nobody on our team that can open a business and start this thing.
Oh, we have those that open their businesses, but what happens when we open a business, okay? I'll tell you what happens when we open a business, all right? A license and inspection is around at your business
right
every week. License and inspection is around at your business with the white glove, all right, and a can of dust that they'll dump on your business and then wipe with the white glove and say your business is dirty. Okay? All right.
I get the point.
You get the point?
I get the point.
All right. You know, like I said, it's deliberate and systemic. This is why we say that student debt is also racial justice issue. Because studies found that 2 decades after taking out their student loans, the median black student still owes 95% of their debt. On the other hand, the white borrower has paid off 94% of their debt. Tens of millions of students, and you see the black and white divide is becoming more and more stark than ever before. This is not some long ago conspiracy. This is contemporary reality.
Right.
So the argument really is we can't pay reparations to slaves because nobody alive today is a slave. Well, there are millions of black people alive today who are suffering from these white supremacist policies. The equal justice because the U.S. government's contemporary actions. If you really want to put a number on it at the bare minimum, $500,000 for every black person in America would be a good start. And that still does not absolve the U.S. government for paying reparations to black people for 400 years of slavery, genocide, and Jim Crow. All right? All right? That's the reality. That's the reality. You know, don't forget about Tulsa, North Carolina, and places like this during the Jim Crow era. Okay?
All these black cities
Right.
underwater
Underwater,
right now.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Lake Seneca, Seneca
Yeah.
Village in what is now Central Park. All right? See, don't forget what I tell you, Uncle Richard taught me, and that the elders taught us. Economic success among black people is dangerous because there's nothing more a white man with a penny hates than a black man with a nickel.
Yeah.
This is
And
the open eye.
I heard something a couple days ago.
Mhm.
It's like hell is empty
Okay.
because all the devils on earth.
Woo-wee. That makes sense to me. All
I
right.
just had to say that again. And
Yeah.
that was serious, right?
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
That was. You know? And look, don't get it mixed when people call them devils. All right? We're not, you know what? It's like, well, that's prejudice. You're
Or
prejudging.
demons.
Or demons. You know, that's prejudice. You're prejudging. Okay? No, we're not prejudging. When we call you devils, what is a devil? One who devalues. When we call you devils, we're basing it on your own history, which is why you don't want it taught. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. Right? And you know, I been here and you know said this before, but we learn by repetition. And you know I lose some friends, but I really don't give a damn. As I'm much more interested in power than I am popularity. And yes, I mean black power, the power we need not only to survive, but to thrive. The power we need to battle the genocidal goals of white supremacy. I don't give a damn about forming some phony ass, one-sided alliance with people who only want to cry brotherhood when it's convenient for them. If alliances with others are not instrumental in the advancement and liberty of black people, miss me with that crap. Black first, global African supremacy. And as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays.
Yep.
Therefore, value those who value you and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option.
WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye.
Say what you got now, but I don't see it.
All right. Like I always tell you, I leave you with these three words. Global African supremacy. All right? It does not mean we want our tongue to hold the whip. It means we need to run the world with competence, fairness, and justice. Peace.
All right. From a distance, it's no accident if it really meant creep up slow, creep black with the tent. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Copy going in. Nsoromma stream everywhere. The Open Eye Radio Show every Saturday, 11 to 12. Let's go. Kick in, call in. You know what it is.
All right.
Boom.
Peace.
Hey. Hey.